amazing and interesting people to work with. I think I probably learned more in those 2 years working with those folks than I have in every other job I've ever had put together. But I think too, it was interesting, it was amazing, and it was heart-wrenching at the same time when you saw what mental illness could do to people's lives. And I really, for a very long time, wanted to work in that area, but something that Professor Riding said really resonated with me. I wanted to help people stay well, you know, it seemed almost more than I could bear to work with people who needed so much help. And I thought, wow, let's work with people and maybe prevent, you know, the depth of mental illness that I saw and help people stay more on the upside than on the downside. But it was amazing, and I'm also going to echo what a lot of other people said. Internships, you know, any opportunity you get, take it, because you just never know what you're going to find and the skills you're going to walk away with. I was terrified the first day I walked in there, and it was mental health back in the days when nobody wore white coats. So the only difference between the people who worked there and the people who lived there, the staff had happy face buttons. When I walked into the ward and the door shut behind me, I thought, oh my God, I'm trapped on a schizophrenic ward. And you know, I had these Hollywood notions in my head of what these folks were like, and yet they were one of the most welcoming bunches of people I've ever worked with. And the funny part was, I had been engaged and it ended very badly. So being the professional that I was, I walked onto the floor one day and I sat down and one of the patients looked at me and said, "What's the matter with you?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And that's when he said, "Well, we may be crazy, but we're not stupid." So group therapy that day became about me. And I felt so much better when I left. And it was neat to see that, and one of the patients even said it was so nice to be needed. So yeah, I was terrified, but at the same time, you know, I made myself do it, and I'm so happy that I did.
Thank you. Who else has a question?
This is for anyone.
Okay, obviously you missed the fact that fan is annoying.
This is for anyone. My question is, how difficult is it to make the transition to teaching, to education, in terms of getting certified or qualified, or requirements for doing that?
Sure. Michael, I think a lot of that depends on at what level you want to teach. Isn't it funny here? The beauty part of working here at MC was that they actually looked for people who had credentials in their field. It's so funny, you know, when you teach kids, you have to be credentialed in teaching kids. When you teach in community college, you have to be good in your field. So the transition, at least for me, it really wasn't a big one. They were looking for someone who knew something about, was credentialed in the area of health education. And I think I will do a commercial for community college. I don't think all of you realize how lucky you are to actually be learning from people who have had jobs in the real world. I remember taking an education class at a university, and some of the things the teacher was saying, I thought, really? Have you ever taught middle school? Come to find out, no, he hadn't. But he had a lot of book knowledge and he had a lot of theory. He didn't have a whole lot of really real-life experience. And I thought, if I tried some of that stuff with my middle school kids, they would have tied me to my chair. You know, so real-life experience counts here. For college and university, you need that PhD. Professor Fleming.
No, I think you cover all the areas. I mean, it really is make sure that you have the certifications you need for the faculty position you're looking for. And you're right, if you want to go to higher ed, not only a master's, but definitely a PhD is going to be incredibly important. Also, having that work experience, having some work experience, especially if you're going to go to a four-year school, is going to be, they're going to look at that, because people that go straight from bachelor's all the way through a PhD without any kind of work experience, they're not going to be looked upon the same way as somebody that has that life experience. So that will be important.
First of all, I mean, thank you all so much. I mean, this is really helpful for me, and I have a million questions. But if I had to boil it down to, I guess I can boil it.
We got selfies after this, so you can go take yourself some time to do that.
Okay. But yeah, one question I had is this is for Professor Harrison. In terms of getting involved in like athletic training and everything, and landing a job like that, I mean, it sounds so exciting, but it just seems like it's not something that like is very easy to do without, like, I guess first of all the right qualifications and like proper experience. And so like going about getting that job, like, I mean, how was that for you?
Repeat the last part again, please.
Like going about getting that job.
Well, I've got to say it was probably easier for me. My first job, I'll age myself here. I graduated from grad school in 1981, and I think the availability of jobs was a little greater. I also graduated from a well-known graduate program in athletic training, and so when you do go to graduate school, that's something to keep in mind, to really look at the quality of the program, how well it's known in the industry. And where it helped is, particularly at the college level, the school I went to was known. Now, if I had worked as an athletic trainer in the high school level, I don't think the school I went to would have made a big deal. It's really a matter of get your credentials, your degree, and just hit the pavement and trying to find a job. When I did get out of grad school, actually, the only job I was offered, so this is part of it, was a job in a community college in New Jersey that was 10 minutes from my parents' house. I never, ever thought I would end up back, and I lived with my parents because I was trying to save money because I was going to get married, and I never envisioned that. So while I was lucky to get the job, and I got it pretty easily, it was the only job I was offered. So you just got to keep on. I put out lots of applications, and practice. When you go to job interviews, practice, 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 so that you can do a good job.
Hi, I'm Jose, and I'm actually tailoring this question to Professor Thomas and sorry, I can't remember his name. Anyways, I'm looking into working in your profession or your previous profession, and I want to know what I can do to just be more diverse or just segregate myself from the rest of the people. I mean, I'm bilingual. I tailored also to military because I was in the military, but I want to be able to set myself up in the future and kind of like separate myself and try to see if I can make a good living doing something that I love, also, you know, make a decent living. So I want to know what I can do in that area, or if you guys, you know, had any experience doing that yourself.
Okay, so a few bits. I hate these things. A few bits of advice. First of all, make sure that you get your education and your certifications. If you're looking to go into any sort of personal training, we are starting to see the trends in the industry, and Professor Thomas and I recently came back from a conference that reinforced this, that if you're not educated, if you don't have at least an AA or a bachelor's degree, even a master's degree, it's going to be hard to set yourself apart from those individuals who just got a certification, and so on and so forth. So you want to make sure that you have your education, that you get your certification, and if you want to specialize, look for specialty certifications, again, to just make yourself look better. And then outside advice, in addition to the fitness side of the world, is look into some business classes or start working with a business coach who can help you brand yourself. Sounds like you know what population you want to work with. Really start building your personal business. And there are executive coaches out there that you could work with. That may not be your specialty, but that may be their specialty. And working with them would help you to set yourself apart from the rest. And have the opportunity, maybe you can find an executive coach who would be happy to help you build your business and you can help them become physically fit. So there's a lot of ways we can do this.
Okay, I guess we're switching mics. I would also add to it, look at the quality of the certifications. There are a whole vast thing. Any of you who have had us know, we talk about, the ACE, the NASM, the CSCS, the ACSM. They really are looking at it out in the industry. We're hearing that more and more, that they are looking, not just are you certified, but where are you certified from? I think also what it is once you know a niche, network within that. There really are, we're starting to see out on the web, interest groups in specific things. Is one of the conferences I went to, it was a woman who specialized in working with the morbidly obese, and she was trying to do an international, and she has set up a website to try to find trainers so that, clients can go into her organization and find them. So I think that's very, you start looking at, you find your niche and then you start networking within that.
Another thing I forgot to add was I'm going to be traveling a lot. I'm going to be around the military for a really long time. The only reason I'm here is because of the naval base here in Bethesda. And you mentioned the qualifications of the certificate that I choose to get. I'm looking at moving to either California or Washington, and that's most likely where I be stationed at or be around there. And I just want to know, which ones I would go and look at, because I know in California there's one ISAF or something like that, or ISSA, and it's highly known over there, but I've never heard of it here or in our class. So I want to know, how do I start looking into this? Are there different states require different certifications, and if so, what do you suggest I take here that can be universal and transfer to all these other states? I want to be able to work because that's part of being around the military shop.
Well, one of the things is that ACSM, National Strength and Conditioning, ACE are internationally recognized, and in fact, they have do testing throughout the world, so they are internationally recognized. So usually, while there tend to be regional certifications, I think the trend is getting away from that, because when people move, and we move, most of us move all over the place, is you need that certification that transports, and that's those big international ones that we talk about. And that's really, I think, the best one to do, is to go for those big international ones.
You mean I can't do it in the weekend?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, are there any other questions for our panel today?
Yeah, I have a question. Blame? Yeah. For the, you said you were working for mixed cultural, involving your language skills and all this stuff. I was kind of interested in it because I've been looking for an internship in the identity program, which focuses on the Spanish culture and high schoolers and all that stuff. So I just want to know more about that experience and how it went on.
Oh, okay. When I worked for the Center for Multicultural Human Services, that was specifically working with refugees. So it was working in mental health issues with people that had come to the country as refugees that came from various areas where there was civil war. And so it was a very interesting experience, but in that place, I didn't get a chance to actually use my own skills of having my language skills. Now, for Nueva Vida, which was an organization specifically targeting Latino women, it took me a while to find that particular job. It was actually one of those jobs that I found just by networking. And my mother actually worked at the Organization of American States, and it was through that I heard about Nueva Vida. There is actually a lot of non-governmental organizations that work with the Latino population. Many of them also work with teenagers as well, so if that's something that you're interested in. Now, are you interested in something related to fitness, health, education? I'm not 100% sure. Oh, okay. Well, think about it this way. You can always do both. And that's one of the things that sometimes people don't realize. Just to give you an example, I had a friend of mine that she did an economics degree, and then she ended up getting a master's degree in public health, and she became a health economist, which are the rarest type of health people. But by doing that, she was able to find a very exclusive club and was able to get jobs everywhere because nobody did it. So don't think about that you have to choose between one or the other. Sometimes thinking about that you can double major or do a minor in one and then do a major in the other and combine them. Here we have a program that actually does fitness and health education. And when you think about it that way, you can merge the two, and then as you go through your academic career, you're going to start getting experiences in both and then figure out which one you like best. Maybe you like both, and maybe you can create your own business doing both. So don't choose, you can do both.
Any other questions? So here's what we're going to do. This is your last activity for the afternoon. I want everyone to take out your sheet. And I want everyone with the sheet filled out to stand up. Oh yeah. That's right. Come on, stretch. It's time to stretch. This is the 7th inning stretch. Okay, are we ready? And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask the panel, when the panelist who was A, and I'll name it, raise your number. If you see the number you have marked down, you continue standing. If you don't have that number, you're out. As I tell my students in class, the tribe has spoken. You have been evicted from the Big Brother house. Let's see, there's one more I can't remember right now. So, are we ready? So, would the panelist who was the Senior Director of Application Solutions, and I think she had to leave, would they raise her? It was Coach G. So if you have number 2, for Senior Director of Applications, did you have to then stay up? You're still in it. He's in it to win. We got one over here too. We got folks in it to win it. Okay, would the panelist who was the head athletic trainer please raise their card? If you have number 9 by head athletic trainer, keep standing. Well, that saves the FYE department a whole lot of money this year. Thank you for sharing. But just so you know, if we would start with number 1, if you would tell them, I'm going to bring the mic and we're just going to let the mic go straight down the line, what your previous life was.
I was an administrator for Department of Health and Human, yeah.
Family Child Services and
Yes.
Intensive Family Services. Yeah.
Family Child Services, Intensive Family Services. Yes, that was me.
I was the stress management person for a number of years. I had a private practice in stress management. I also worked as a consultant to many medical practices as their stress management educator.
Worked as a police officer for 32 years and still working as a musician.
I'm not on this, but I was an ex-professional soccer player.
I was the general manager for the Harborview Health Club.
I was the Access to Healthcare Program Coordinator for Nueva Vida.
And I was the athletic trainer and massage therapist.
And I was the exercise physiologist in the chronic pain clinic.
Lesson learned, you never can tell a book by its cover. These are all amazing people who have great lives now and have a wealth of information. Let's give all of them a round of applause.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys all for coming. I know some of you are here for class, yes, our stamper is going to be, Ms. Brown is going to be sitting at this table over here. So if you want to bring the white sheet over to her, she will stamp it for you if you need it for class for extra credit. Also, we have some refreshments in the back, which you're welcome to help yourselves to. And if you haven't gotten a backpack yet, please get one as a gift from us. Wait, and then I'll let you go. Again, just thank you all for coming. All of us are available after. We'll stay for a while to answer individual questions. Or if you want to come see us during our office hours or by appointment, all of our business cards and everything are available upstairs in E236. So please feel free to come by and say hello or ask questions, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thank you again for coming.